Hi everybody, and welcome to Increasing Intimacy, part of the Secrets of Successful Relationships series. And I'm going to talk to you today about 3 keys to really increase intimacy. But today we're going to focus on how emotional intimacy increases physical intimacy. So stick around until the end so you hear all the tips and how you can apply it to different areas in your life. My name's Dawn Bennett, and I'm an emotional freedom techniques practitioner. I've been helping people heal for 23 years, and I'm also the best-selling author of The Touch Crisis. So one of the biggest challenges I see in relationships is that we forget how to create intimacy. We get complacent, we get a little bit comfortable with each other, or maybe we get a little fearful, a little awkward in the beginning of relationships, and this can be a friendship as well. Emotional intimacy is important in all kinds of relationships. So even though I'm talking about partnerships right now, you can also apply this to friendships. Sometimes we get afraid to speak our truth of who we really are, share our experiences, and be vulnerable. And there's nothing wrong with protecting oneself and choosing when to be vulnerable and when not to be, making sure that we're safe in that level of vulnerability. But sometimes it can have a negative impact on our relationships if we do it too much, or it can indicate a fear of actually wanting to commit. So have you ever felt a little bit vulnerable when you're telling somebody a story? Like maybe they might judge you, or maybe you're judging yourself a little bit, and you're not really sure if you should tell the story, but you kind of already told it, and you're starting to tell it, so maybe it's safe. Have you ever felt just a little bit of hesitation? So that's why it's important to really encourage safety and comfort when you're sharing stories with your partner and when they are sharing stories back. So if you communicate that you're listening, you don't try to fix it, you don't try to change it, but you just really listen. Look them in the eye. Show interest in your body language. Show that you care. I had someone ask me once, do you actually want me to fix that and suggest some things for you, or do you want me just to listen today? And it was such a really great statement because I got to tune into myself and say, yeah, do I want advice and support, or do I just want to bitch right now? So give that opportunity to the person that you care about. Create that emotional safety and that emotional connection. So imagine that when you have a conversation with someone, they listen to you in the way that you want to be listened to. Doesn't that feel strong and empowering and safe? So use active listening tools. What I heard you say was, lean in a little bit with your body. Use your eyes. Even if they're not looking back at you because they're telling you something that's scary or shameful, and maybe they're looking down and they're not really sure, and they're still meet them with acceptance, love, and listening. But the next problem I see when we're in relationships, when we're in, this listening stage for each other, is sometimes it can trigger our own stuff. So if someone's telling you a story and they're being vulnerable about how they feel about a situation that involved you, you might be like, but that's not what I was trying to do, and that's not the way I meant it. And our own internal fears, our own internal challenges, feelings, grief, sadness, frustration, whatever it is, starts coming up and interfering with our ability to listen. So that's why it's important to really not take anything personally when you're listening to another person's story. Just leave your other stuff aside and just hear what they have to say and validate it. And then imagine now you've validated it, you've let them hear your thing, and now you get to do the same thing in response and say, hey, when you said that, here's how I felt. Here's what came up in me. So I want to clearly communicate this. And now you have a safe spot to communicate it back without it turning into this, well, you did this, well, you did that, well, I didn't mean it that way, well, blah, blah, blah. And now all of a sudden you're both upset when really you're just feeling the way you get to feel. So imagine now both of you being heard so you can come to a place of resolution. Another challenge I see with people sometimes is we forget to give little affirmations or little support throughout the relationship. And it doesn't have to be like, oh, yay, thanks for doing, every little thing that they do, like thanks for cleaning, thanks for doing the dishwasher, thanks for doing the laundry, but some people like that and they appreciate that. Some people want that level of validation. That's how they feel loved. All right, it's one of the love languages. Have you ever felt unappreciated by somebody? Or in a situation, you did your best or you did something, you went perhaps out of your way to help somebody. You did something that you're really excited to give. Maybe you bought flowers, or maybe you gave a little gift to your mom when you were young and you didn't get the appreciation back. Remember how that felt? So that's why it's important to continually show support and appreciation to your partner in ways that your partner can hear it as well, right? Like, so for example, I know moms that get touched all day long by their kids and they just don't want to be touched anymore. And then their husband comes up to touch them on the back and say, hey, honey, I really love you and appreciate you. And they're like, oh, don't touch me. But can you show them in a different way? Hey, I want to give you 5 minutes of time to yourself. Would you like that? Hey, would you appreciate if I rubbed your feet, if I gave you touch that was only for you to receive? This is how we start bringing this emotional intimacy and this emotional support into the realm of increasing physical intimacy, right? Because if you're feeling loved, supported, if your bucket isn't empty, if you're not feeling challenged every time you say something, if you're getting what you need, if your cup is full, you're much more likely to want to go connect physically, sexually. So the keys to increasing emotional intimacy, right? Don't take anything personal. Listen as well as you can. Validate your partner. And show appreciation and support. Emotionally connect with your partner, right? There's different kinds of intimacy. There's emotional intimacy, there's intellectual intimacy, there's spiritual intimacy, there's physical intimacy. And if you imagine them as a wheel and all these pieces are spoke, right? When one spoke breaks, you've got all the rest to support you. And it's easier to fix that spoke. If your relationship only relies on physical intimacy, sometimes that can be great short term, but then when that spoke breaks, then what happens? So I challenge you, I empower you, please go out, find ways to listen more clearly to your friends, to your family members, to that person or the people that you love. Show them support, show them appreciation, listen. Increase those relationships. And if any of these suggestions were helpful for you, please subscribe and hit the bell for further notifications on videos. And if you want to know how to clear the emotional blockages that prevent you from being able to not take things personally, or to be able to clear fears that prevent you from creating some emotional intimacy, check out my events in the description page, because I teach emotional freedom techniques so you can empower yourself to clear those emotions when they come up. I'm Dawn Bennett, and I hope you have a lovely, emotionally connected